If you are a senior and you're peeing more than 2 times at night, there's an actual medical term for this condition, and I am going to share it with you in just a second. But first, I want to make sure that you understand that this is something that is very common in seniors, but it's not normal. Okay? So just because everybody's doing it doesn't mean that it's normal. Now, this condition has many different causes. In fact, there's up to 16 different causes that I'm going to list right here in just a second. And I want you to pause the video and see if you can check off any of these items on my list. But before we get into the causes, let me explain something else about this condition. You may have heard your doctor call this nighttime urination, Nocturia. Now, doctors use this term when you're urinating more than 2 times at night. But the thing is that your doctor may treat the symptoms, but rarely do they take the time to figure out what's really causing it. And I think that's a big mistake. I believe that you should always look upstream to find the cause of the problem so you can correct the cause, not just treat the symptoms. So let's talk about some of these causes real quick. Number 1, are you drinking too many fluids? Okay, this one is pretty obvious, but sometimes people don't realize how much fluid they're drinking. Now, if you're drinking water or milk or juice or tea or coffee, that can all add up to extra fluid in your system, which means that you're going to urinate more frequently during the day and at night. Number 2, are you taking in too many electrolytes? When you consume things like Gatorade or Pedialyte, or even coconut water, which are loaded with electrolytes, you're going to find yourself running to the bathroom quite frequently. Electrolytes are very powerful when it comes to making you thirsty, and they're also going to affect your adrenal glands, which will also make you thirstier. Number 3 could be certain medications that you're taking. For example, water pills like hydrochlorothiazide, they're going to make you pee more. Diuretics like Lasix are going to make you pee more. Even blood pressure medications can increase your urination as well. There's many other medications that can do this, so if you suspect that your meds are the reason why you're urinating more frequently, just stop them and see if your urination goes back to normal. If it does, then you'll know exactly what's going on. Now, please do not stop taking your medication unless you have checked with your doctor first. Okay? I'm just giving you a suggestion on how you might be able to figure this out. All right, number 4 could be certain supplements that you're taking that contain a lot of water. For example, water pills, okay? Or diuretic teas. I've had patients tell me that they were drinking certain teas to help them urinate and lose weight. Little did they know that this was increasing their urination. It was actually causing them to be dehydrated. Number 5, you could have a urinary tract infection, a UTI, that's causing you to urinate more frequently. Number 6, it could be enlarged prostate. Number 7, it could be that you have weak pelvic floor muscles, which is making it hard for you to hold your urine and keep it in your bladder until you get to the bathroom. Number 8, it could be that you're drinking too many liquids after 4 p.m., because here's what's going to happen. You drink that liquid, it takes a little while to get into your system, but then, eventually, it's going to signal to your brain that, hey, you need to go to the bathroom. But the problem is that when you're sleeping, your brain is not going to wake up and say, hey, you need to go to the bathroom. So instead, what will happen is you're going to wake up in the middle of the night to urinate, and then you won't be able to fall back asleep. So then, you're going to end up just laying there for a little while, maybe reading a book or something. And then, once you're tired enough, you'll go back to sleep. But then, the cycle starts over again, because you drank those extra fluids before you went to bed. Number 9, it could be that you have a bladder infection or some type of irritation inside your bladder. Number 10, it could be that your kidneys are not filtering properly, which means that you're retaining fluid and now your bladder is having to work harder, which means you're going to urinate more frequently. Number 11, It could be that you're drinking too many liquids throughout the day, but you're not drinking the right types of liquids. For example, caffeinated drinks like coffee, soda pop, tea, they can act as a diuretic. Alcohol can also act as a diuretic. Energy drinks can act as a diuretic as well. And even certain herbs can act as a diuretic. Number 12. It could be that you're consuming too many refined sugars, which is depleting your zinc. Zinc is a major mineral that helps to control your fluid balance. If you're deficient in zinc, you can have excess fluid retention, but you can also have problems with urination and controlling your urination. Number 13. It could be that you're constipated and you've been straining to try to go number 2. Well, guess what? That same muscle that you're using to try to push out the stool is the same muscle that's supposed to be holding the urine in your bladder. So if you're constipated, you're going to have a harder time holding your urine and keeping it in your bladder. Number 14. It could be that your bladder isn't emptying completely. There could be some residue urine left over in your bladder, which means that your bladder is going to be constantly trying to empty itself, which means you're going to urinate more frequently. Number 15, it could be that you're suffering from sleep apnea and you don't even know it. And number 16, it could be that you have kidney stones or some type of blockage in your urinary tract. Now, because of the censoring and the suppressing of the algorithms, it's becoming more difficult to find my content. And there's a lot of content that I cannot put on certain platforms, unfortunately. So, to make sure you have full access of all my information, subscribe to my newsletter by clicking the link down below in the description. I will see you on the other side. Now, since we're talking about your hormones and balancing your hormones, I want to give you a very important tip that helped someone recently. Now, there was a case study done with a group of 36 people. They were all between the ages of 65 and 75 years old. And they had what's called mild cognitive impairment, meaning they weren't suffering from dementia, but they weren't totally normal either. But when they took a certain supplement for 3 months, their cognition improved. In fact, their scores went up by an average of 13 points. Well, what was this magical supplement that they took? Magnesium. Magnesium plays a very important role in balancing your electrolytes, especially as you get older. Because as you age, you start losing magnesium. And the reason why you're losing magnesium is because you're no longer absorbing it in your gut. And also, you're starting to sweat more, which is releasing magnesium. And if you're on diuretics, that's also going to deplete your magnesium. But here's the problem. Most people are getting only about 60% of the recommended daily amount of magnesium, which means that most people are deficient in magnesium, especially as they get older. And guess what? Low magnesium levels can lead to all sorts of issues like insomnia, anxiety, high blood pressure, muscle twitching, cramping, fatigue, irritability, memory problems, focus problems, poor learning, headaches, dizziness, PMS, and restless leg syndrome. So it might be a good idea to start taking a magnesium supplement, especially if you're over the age of 50. The key is finding the right form of magnesium, and I want to recommend a product that I found that contains the most absorbable forms of magnesium. And it also contains vitamin D3 and K2, which are very essential nutrients that you need to take together. Vitamin D3 helps to regulate calcium in your body, while vitamin K2 helps to regulate where that calcium goes. So if you want to learn more about this product, click the link down below in the description. Now, since you're watching this video, I'm going to make a strong recommendation that you also start taking an electrolyte powder. This is one that I formulated that contains all the right minerals in the right ratios. As you can see, I included potassium citrate, which is the most absorbable form of potassium. I also added magnesium, which we just talked about, as well as other electrolytes like dicalcium phosphate, which is a good source of calcium. And I added some trace minerals in there as well. So if you want to learn more about this product, you can click the link down below in the description.